This is the Durston Wapta 30 pack, and it claims to be the ideal pack for an ultralight hiker, combining innovative features and cutting-edge materials. All of that while only weighing 365 grams. That's pretty crazy. But how has it handled my rigorous testing over the course of over 500 miles? Is it the most capable ultralight pack I've ever used? How much weight can it carry? Does it have all the features I want in an ultralight pack? Who is it really for? And is it the first truly waterproof pack I've ever tested? Today, I'm going to share with you the good and the bad with the Wapta 30 to see whether it stacks up to the competition. Let's start off by talking about what's good about the Wapta 30. First of all, like I already mentioned, the weight. It only weighs 365 grams in the stripped down version. So that means that you don't have any side compression straps and no hip belt on this pack. That being said, it does come with a hip belt and you can add these straps back on, and fully kitted out, it weighs 480 grams. Overall, this pack is insanely lightweight, especially for the capabilities and the features that it has. The space inside the pack is very good. I think it's a perfectly proportioned pack. You have 30 liters of internal volume and then 16 liters of external volume. So that's including the side pockets, the front pocket, hip belts, basically all the pockets that are on this pack. I find that the capacity of this pack is good for about a 3 to 4 day trip if you have a 10 to 15 pound base weight, or over 5 days, 5 7 plus days if you have a base weight that's under 10 pounds. And I've used this pack for those lengths of time and can verify that it's gonna fit all the stuff that you need. And that's because of the next really good thing about this pack, and that's accessibility to items. So you have a gigantic front pocket on here. You can fit tons of stuff in here. It's definitely tempting to overload it, but I recommend not stuffing it full. Maybe just leave the chair or the giant rain jacket at home. Bring a lighter weight one. You also have side pockets, one on either side, that are really nice size and can hold 2 smart water bottles. What I really like about them as well is that it's really easy to reach back, grab your water bottle, take it out, take a sip of water, and then put it back. You can do that while moving, while on the run. Basically, I love that you can access the water bottles, because especially with very ultralight packs like this, there's a tendency for those side pockets not to be reachable in order to grab water. You also have shoulder pockets, one on each shoulder strap, big stretchy ones, great for bear spray, or if you are fast packing or something like that, you can put collapsible water bottles in here, or sunscreen, basically whatever you want. These are really nice in order to just access stuff throughout the day. I like put my sunscreen and sunglasses in one, bear spray in the other one, works out really well. You also get a lot of extra room for pocket space with the hip belt if you're using that. Personally, I find that with the shoulder pockets, the side pockets, and then the bottom pocket, I don't need the hip belt. I find that I have enough room for all the items I need throughout the day, especially with this bottom pocket for all my snacks. It's really nice for that. You can just grab snacks out of that pocket and then stick the garbage back in. I think with the most recent update of the Wapta 30 as well, there's a little kind of garbage slot on the one side. Mine just has the one big opening, but it'll be nice to have that garbage slot on there. As you can see, this pack is very modular, and I love the flexibility that comes with this pack. With the hip belt or without the hip belt, with the compression straps or without them, you can do a lot of different things with this pack. You can use it as pretty much your go-to backpacking pack if you have a lower base weight, or you can use it as a fast packing pack or a day pack. I know a lot of people are using this as a day pack, and it works really well in that sort of capacity if you need a little bit more volume. The Wapta 30 doesn't have a frame on it. You have these 2 foam panels that provide a little bit of structural stability for the pack, but there's no aluminum or carbon fiber frame inside of here. And with that, people might ask, how much weight can the Wapta 30 comfortably carry? Especially these shoulder straps. They don't look very beefy. They're not super wide. They're not super thick. But what I found is that I can carry up to 40 pounds in this pack with the hip belt very comfortably. Even without the hip belt, I find that it carries weight a lot more comfortably than I would have expected. I've had 40 pounds in here without the hip belt. I wasn't loving it, but I was able to hike successfully and get to camp and finish a trip with 40 pounds inside the pack and no hip belt. I think the sweet spot for this pack without a hip belt is the 20 to 25 pound range, and then around 30 pounds if you are using the hip belt. The final good thing about this pack, and the reason why it costs so much, we'll get into in a second, is the materials that it's made of. It uses an Alula graphite material, which is similar, if you're familiar with Ultra, it's kind of similar to that, kind of similar to Dyneema. It's just a modern day, super fancy fabric that is laminated and as a result, fully waterproof. It also allows for some cool things like these loops that are on the shoulder straps, the little kind of doodads on the side here. It seems like a really well put together pack, and then all the seams are taped. So theoretically, this pack is fully waterproof when you have it rolled up. And I don't really ever consider a pack fully waterproof, but this pack is as close as it's gotten for me so far. I've hiked in some pretty extreme rain over multiple days and never had a drop of water inside the pack. That being said, because I'm storing wet gear on rainy trips inside the pack with my dry stuff, I still use a Nyloflume pack liner in here, put all my dry stuff in that, twist it up, and then put that at the bottom of the pack, and then stack the wetter stuff like my tent and stuff on top of that. As far as Pack Wizard comparables, there's not a lot of comparable packs on the market. You have the Z-Packs Nero, the Hyperlight Mountain Gear Contour 35, and the Outdoor Vitals Skyline 30. I think those packs all compete with the Wapta 30 in different ways, but I think they fill different roles. I think the Wapta 30 is kind of the pure backpacker, fast packer pack. It's not trying to be like a running pack or anything like that. It just does what it needs to do and does it very, very well. That being said, there are some negatives with the Wapta 30. The first one being the top strap, I find is a little bit annoying. The strap is very, very long, and I understand that they want you to be able to strap a bear canister on top of the pack, which you can. I tested that out, and you can strap a bear canister on here with this V-strap, and it carries it surprisingly well. And you might need that if you are doing a trip where you are in bear country, but I definitely think there's probably better packs out there for that. The only time I'd maybe consider that if I was doing a through hike and I only need to carry the bear canister for maybe like a handful of days or a week or something like that. But this V-strap, a little bit finicky, and I'd love if it was removable. I think it'd be great to have 3 points on the back of the pack here where you could connect either a single loop if you weren't really needing the V-strap, or the double loop V-strap if you need to go that route. I also think just a little bit more modularity with some of the buckles and stuff like that would be nice. You can see that I took the side straps off, but there's a little buckle right there that's just kind of flapping in the wind. I don't think that's necessary. One of the first things I noticed, and something that I think some people might complain about, is the fact that there's no vest style shoulder straps on this pack, which would distribute weight a little bit better over your chest when you're using it without a hip belt. But surprisingly, I haven't really missed it, and it's something that I've kind of come around on. I think this pack is fine without the vest style shoulder straps, and these straps work surprisingly well. The one thing that I do wish is that instead of just one big long pocket on the shoulder straps, there was another little pocket maybe underneath it, or just a little bit more separation of these pockets so you can just store things in a little bit more of a separated way. Speaking of that, I also wish that anyone who makes packs out there would add the feature that the Zerk 40 has from Mountainsmith, where there's a stretchy little pocket on the outside of the side pockets. I find that amazing for just little things I might need throughout the day, sometimes snacks or a hat or mitts. Before we get into the final negative, I think this pack really is for a targeted audience. It's not a pack made for everybody out there. It's not gonna really suit everyone, partly because of the low volume, partly because it has to fit you. If you're not using it without a hip belt, it's gonna fit you no problem because you just use it with the shoulder straps and you're good to go. But there's not an adjustable torso or anything like that. Just 3 sizes, I think small, medium, large, and you just hope that you fit in one of those sizes. The final negative is the price. This pack costs $300, which makes it quite expensive, especially for a more ultralight pack. It is using premium materials and construction, but that's expensive, and I'd love to see it in the $250 range, especially if maybe you could add an option that's a little bit cheaper but without a hip belt, because I almost never use the hip belt, and this probably added $30, $40, maybe even $50 onto the price of the pack. So have an option without a hip belt, maybe lower the price, and then if some manufacturing efficiencies can be achieved, getting down to that 250 range would be awesome. Go check out this video if you want to see my full super ultralight backpacking gear list. It includes the Wapta 30 as well as a bunch of other very innovative gear.